You have all seen the headlines, the chronicles of rockets, collapsed buildings, deaths, iron domes, and peace treaties. The deadly armed conflict always demands our attention. However, after the brutal armed conflict subsides and the headlines become less frequent in number, there remains another struggle just as devastating and perhaps with consequences that last for generations. This video tells that story. The story of the economies of Israel and Palestine, two countries mired with endless conflict, war, brutality, and deaths. Now, before going into the nature of the conflict and its consequences, we need to have an overview of the two economies. There is a significant gap between the GDP per capita of Israel and Palestine. The difference between these two economies is also evident by the rank in the Ease of Doing Business Index. While Israel's position in the rank is 35, Palestine is in the 117th position. In fact, Israel consistently remains in the top 10 in the list of countries hosting the largest number of startups. Although Israel's economy has shifted towards industry, in the first stage of the country, it focused heavily on agriculture. However, the scope for growth in this sector is limited as usable farming water is scarce. While the rural Israelis, who account for only 10% of the population, form a strong agrarian community, the rest of the country is becoming highly industrialized. Israel is world's one of the greatest hubs for diamond trades. Although there are no diamond mines in Israel, due to their advanced diamond refining technology, the diamond industry plays a significant part in the economy of Israel. This industry accounted for nearly 4% of export revenues in 2019. High-tech and the service sector are increasingly making a greater contribution to the GDP as well. This shift can be further understood by looking at the top export of Israel over the years. So, clearly, the composition of their exported goods has changed dramatically. While Israel's main source of export revenue came from citrus, the whole agriculture sector now accounts for only 4%. Israel provides technological solutions to global business partners. The country's vast number of startups provide research and development solutions, cybersecurity, financial consultancy, and advanced high-tech Medicare solutions. Now, there is a general idea in business and economics that conflict is bad for business as it drives away investors. Being able to raise capital is a must for any business to thrive. But, as this chart shows, capital deficiency is not an issue for Israel. Israel is only second to the USA in receiving venture capital investments, and in the case of startups, the country receives the highest amount of investment in the world. Although conflict is ever present in the region, the economy has been stable over the years, and the regulatory authorities protecting private ownership and security of business organizations are quite strong. In fact, the 2021 Index of Economic Freedom puts Israel as the 26th freest economy in the world. On the other hand, the scenario in Palestine is completely different and gives a very bleak picture. In 2018, the state of Palestine had a GDP per capita of just above $3,500, which is very low compared to Israel. Palestine traditionally had an agriculture-based economy. Palestine's main exports are tropical fruits, scrap iron, building stone, and human resources. The agriculture sector of Palestine has taken a deep dive due to the fact that Israel has seized control of the West Bank's 38% of cultivable land and a significant portion of water resources. Between 1994 to 2018, the contribution of agriculture and fishing in the GDP fell from 12% to only 3%. Now, coming to the international trade of Palestine, the fact that Palestine's main trading partner is Israel might come as a surprise to many. In fact, 85% of Palestinian exports go to Israel. On the other hand, Palestine is also very dependent on Israel for importing important materials. Currently, almost 70% of total imports come from Israel. This indicates a deep reliance on the Israeli market for the continued existence of the economy of Palestine. Palestine's economy is further debilitated by Israel's ban on many types of equipment and goods that are essential for the production process. Under this ban, Israel has declared a great list of products that they have decided can be used as a military weapon and therefore forbade Palestine to import. Yes, under the current arrangements, Israel, the occupier, has such authority over the products the state of Palestine is allowed to import. As this list contains a vast number of products that are crucial for many production processes, the formation of new manufacturing companies is not feasible, and the existing players in the manufacturing industry are dying out fast. With a weakening agriculture sector and manufacturing industry, the labor force of Palestine also became significantly reliant on Israeli jobs. Currently, around 130,000 Palestinians work in Israel. This significant reliance on the enemy begs the question of what happens after conflict erupts between the two states. The answer is very easy to guess. Although Palestine imports a lot of goods from Israel, the latter is in no way economically reliant on the Palestinian market. Israel's top trading partners like the United States, China, United Kingdom are strong allies and almost always support the state of Israel. So, there are no chances for Israel to receive a sanction from its trading partners that can actually hurt the economy. On the other hand, the completely reliant economy of Palestine will be devastated by a sanction imposed by the government of Israel. 85% of Palestine's export revenue will ebb away. Although, as of making this video, the recent conflict of May did not elicit such sanctions, but there are some examples in the past. In September of 2019, the Palestine Authority, or PA for short, declared a ban on Israeli beef in the hopes of lessening the dependence on the Israeli market. However, as a response to this, the government of Israel simply banned Palestine's export to Israel, Jordan, and European markets. As a result, the PA had to immediately revoke the initial ban on beef for the fear of collapse of the economy. Another example is the decline in the number of Palestinian workers in Israel in the Oslo interim period and after the Second Intifada or revolution. Israel restricted the working opportunity of Palestinians. Because of this, the contribution of revenues from Palestinian workers in Israel to Palestine's GNP decreased from 25 to 6% during this period. Another example is the economy of Gaza. Gaza Strip is one of the territories of occupied Palestine. In 2007, Hamas took control over Gaza and fought against Israel. Hamas' actions propelled Israel and Egypt to impose a blockade over the region, which isolates the region and bars it from trading with any other place. This blockade has been going on ever since and has brought about catastrophic consequences. 56% of the population are under the poverty line, and the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development estimates that without the blockade, this would be somewhere near only 15%. Between 2007 and 2018, the GDP per capita of the residents of Gaza shrank by 27%. Many think that Gaza is near a total economic collapse. So, it's clear that while conflicts can barely touch the advanced and sophisticated economy of Israel, it cripples the already devastated economy of Palestine. The harm caused by the conflict is extremely disproportionate between the two. Now, before ending this video, we want to stress that we are fully aware of the complexity of the topic. You are entitled to support whichever side you want. Our only hope is that you will make an informed decision. But no matter which side you choose, we can all agree that children and civilians should not have to suffer. If you want to help innocent victims of this conflict, please consider visiting the United Nations website and donate if possible. If you like this video, please leave a like and feel free to give us your feedback in the comment section. And subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching.